Hello.
Hello. Let me change my. Okay. Let's wait for everybody to show up. Of course, my headset don't want to work right now. So it's going to be everything in the background. This is crazy. I think it is.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Can I get one of those, please?
Hello, Herman. Welcome,
Hello,
Philly in
hello,
the
hello.
chat.
All right.
Just want to say good morning, Lannie, Miss
Good
Mello,
morning.
B, Balconies. How y'all
I
doing?
told y'all
Good
Good
morning.
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 Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you for coming through, Herman and
No problem. No
Philly and
problem.
I feel
Mando.
like
Okay.
this one is the right one. Yes, I found it. Goodness gracious.
We're
Oh,
going to get started here in just a moment. We are going to be recording live as well on YouTube today. So if you're not able to be in here listening or hear the replay in here, you can go to YouTube later on or probably tomorrow morning and see it live on there. All right, let me know when y'all ready and we will go.
So what I want also is that right alongside of it is a shower that you can stand up to. You just want to shower.
Test this audio.
Yeah, that's where I seen it advertised right there. Well, they said it comes with free shower stuff right there. Tell you free shower.
All right, can y'all hear that good?
yes, yes.
Awesome.
Let's
All
see.
right.
Oh, I see. I got this now. Okay. I'm good. I'm good.
All right, on the countdown, starting the YouTube here live in 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh no, I'm not. Hold on.
Water to me. Make sure we have a spigot in the backyard to help with all that stuff. But they have a spigot for washing water downstairs. That's washing for our tap. Something moved in the sky, watching them battle. Night pressed close on that empty highway. A hush too heavy for the hour. Two travelers caught in a moment. where the dark revealed its power. Shadows bending at the tree line, hum beneath the quiet air. Every instant whispered danger. Something else was waiting there. Step into the mystery with us, where the truth hides behind the light. This is a tale of Betty and Barney, and the night the unknown stepped into sight.
Welcome to Missing Persons with Lannie Love. I'm your host, Lannie Love, and this week we're diving into the chilling abduction of Betty and Barney Hill. I want to start off by talking about the actual incident itself a little bit, the sighting, the missing time, and the government involvement. We're going to go over Barney's hypnosis through this here presentation, as well as some real deep dives into this being the first reported alien abduction, y'all. This is going to be real dope. We have Miss Mel here, and we have B or Britt, however y'all want to call her. I love them both. They are our hosts here and also some of our researchers for this, so we're going to give them credit. We have some people that are not on stage, but our team, Spencer and S, they have dived into getting the information that we need and supported us in this, and I just thank everybody. Now, let's get into this here presentation and let you know we're on YouTube Live, so check us out. Like, subscribe, and share. All right. Hey, Mel.
Hey.
So, let's talk about Barney and Betty.
Okay.
Looking at this presentation that you put together so well, it starts off by talking about the background and the night of the sighting, which was September 19th through the 20th, 1961. And this also was during the Civil Rights era. And Betty and Barney was a interracial couple. So take note of that.
Yeah, pretty much. So basically, let's see. They were what is it, from Portsmouth, New Hampshire? So they were driving down, like they were driving down this road, Route 3. I don't know anything about that. You East Coasters might know a little bit more, I'm guessing, about maybe that route. So they were driving through the White Mountains with their dog. So I don't know if I knew that they had a dog in the car, but I do remember in the story later on, well, there'll be more on that dog. I think that's the same dog. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically Betty was the first one to notice the bright lights moving in the sky. So she initially thought it was a star or a plane. And Barney, I guess, assumes it was some sort of conventional aircraft. So yeah. I don't know if we want to get into the this. So this is the initial. like sighting. We're not like we're going to go into everything. The way I put the PowerPoint together, we're going to go into, the sighting and the evidence and the proponents for it and against it. So let's go. You want to go into the evidence cited by proponents?
Yes. Let's see here. Which slide is that on here? All right. Evidence cited by proponents. It says progressive approach of an object that appeared to change direction, descend, and follow the car down Route 30 through Franconia Notch, observed for a prolonged period. Betty's and Barney's independent sketches right after returning home, which advocates the site as showing consistent impressions of a structured craft. They reported a silent, structured,
Shit.
disc-shaped object with windows and figures, not just a point of light.
Skeptics kind of believe that there was in her initial description, um is compatible with a star or planet or an aircraft seen under unusual conditions. Plus, due to the stress and fatigue from the long drive, they're kind of, that's their point against it. They also are saying there was no radar, um, pilot, or independent ground witnesses confirmed of a structured craft in that place and time. The UFO resets entirely on it rests entirely on the Hill's perception. So, I mean, I do feel like when we're looking at the evidence for and against it, right? Um, I feel like the skeptics don't have much. I mean, these people are saying that something happened on this route. We'll get more into some of the effects it had on them in terms of like them going to specialists or whatever. But I mean, like, if we're looking at just the basics, them having like seeing something in the sky, the pros and cons for and against like believing this story. I kind of feel like the pros win, but I don't know. What do you think?
I think the pros win. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, we got to dive a little bit further into this. So,
You want to go ahead and play? Let's play the first clip that we have here and listen to this here. It's about 6 minutes. It gives like a preview overview of the incident itself.
okay, let me get this. So sorry. I'm gonna do it from here through here. It'll still because I haven't been able to find the YouTube, so I'm just gonna do it through here.
It's on the Miller Note.
No, I'm talking about your YouTube.
Got you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do it through here. Hold on.
It was just an ordinary day in America. Betty, a social worker, and Barney, a U.S. postal employee, were driving home after their honeymoon in Niagara Falls. A trip, as their niece Kathleen explains, they would never forget. Betty and Barney had a wonderful time in Niagara Falls. They spent the following afternoon in Montreal. They thought about spending the night downtown, but they heard that there was a hurricane whirling up the coast, and they wanted to drive through the night if they could. I was 13 years old, and I had arrived home from school in the afternoon. My mother was on the phone with my Aunt Betty, and I heard my mother's side of the conversation. When my mother hung up the phone, She told me that Betty and Barney had seen a flying saucer the night before. They were concerned that they might have been contaminated. I was in shock. I thought this was very, very strange. Hello, which one have I got on the line, or have I got your phone? You have us both on. Oh, how wonderful. Hello, that's you, Barney? Yes, that's correct. And Betty, are you there? Yes, I'm here. Betty? This is a 1966 radio interview with Betty and Barney. In their own words. Now, as I understand it, we have to go back to 1961 to start this whole incident, don't we? Yes, that's right. September 19th, 1961. The night that changed their lives forever. When we, traveling south on Route 3, arrived in an area called Lancaster, New Hampshire, Betty called my attention to an object or a star that she had been watching. As I was watching, this star seemed to be getting larger and brighter. And as we rode along, I kept watching it, and then all of a sudden, I noticed that it had started to move. And we decided to stop, get out of the couch, and take a look at it. I told her that it was probably a satellite. Nothing to get alarmed about. Betty had never seen a satellite before. She knew that her father was very interested in satellites, and so Betty wondered, could this be a satellite? But then she thought, no, it's not behaving like a satellite. She then passed the binoculars to me and said, well, you must really look at this satellite because it's not behaving as we would expect a satellite to behave like. It's clear at this point this was not a satellite. It does a circle. It seems to fly away to the west and then come back directly towards them. Barney is coming up with the other explanations. Maybe it's a passenger jet. Maybe it's a military helicopter. He's got all these explanations because that's how he thinks. And surprisingly, this, what I thought was a satellite, began coming in my direction at a very rapid rate of speed. Well, this caused me to become quite alarmed. And I told my wife, well, apparently it is not a satellite, it must be a passenger plane, and they obviously are looking at us, and I felt uncomfortable to see this, what I thought was a plane, come in our direction. So I returned to the car, and so did she, and we drove down the highway. Privately, he knew that this was unusual, but he said to Betty, oh, it's just a Piper Cub or a commercial airliner. Don't even think about that. And let's get home. But then, as they continue driving south, Betty notices the aircraft appears to be stalking them. Betty said to Barney, it's coming closer, Barney. As they looked at it, it flew in a zigzag pattern, and then it appeared to bounce back and forth in the sky like a ping pong ball. Barney starts to panic. Well, from this point, I was getting quite frightened because of this, and I thought it must have been military pilots. They could obviously see us on the ground with the lights of the car on. I thought they were playing a game with us out there. Up until now, the sighting had been at quite a distance. But now that they've driven down the road several miles, and they look up, and it's still there, fear starts to settle in. It knows that we're here. They're thinking this has a particular interest in us. There's no other cars on the highway, and this light is getting brighter, and it's getting closer. They followed us for approximately 30 miles. And then in an area called Indian Head, it left the top of the mountain, came out over the highway, and stopped midair on the highway right in front of us.
All right, that was the that was the end of that video.
That sounds like exactly what she said and the other ones that I watched on her as well. So her story doesn't change at all.
No, I don't think so either. And so so let's see. So the evidence for and against what they were saying. Um did they talk so the buzzing and beeping sounds? Did they go over it in this video? They didn't, did they? I don't remember hearing them talking about the buzzing and beeping sounds. Were
No,
they?
that's part of the hypnosis. So I think initially they didn't give a lot of details because they couldn't remember, right? And that was the reason why they were prompted to put them under hypnosis so that they can get the full story of what happened.
Yeah, because okay, so just real quick, so you know, based on some of the notes and some of the facts we pulled up, so it may repeat some of the video. Near a picnic area below Cannon Mountain, Barney stops the car. Through binoculars, he sees an object with the windows, 8 to 11 humanoid figures inside, one apparently communicating a message that he later interprets as "stay where you are." Barney walks closer, estimates the craft as within roughly 50 to 80 feet overhead and about 300 feet away, then runs back to the car in a panic, shouting that they are going to capture them. Interesting because, like, whenever I hear that part of the story, I always feel like it sounds like he stood, I remember him saying he was stuck, right? He was just stuck staring at them for a while. So I feel like, some of these notes are not going to like give the full context because, like, he said there was a point where he was trying, like he kept screaming at himself. Do you remember the video I'm talking about? To stop looking, and he just couldn't do it or something. That's kind
Mm-hmm.
of crazy. And like it was almost as if he was like stuck in a trance. And initially I was like, oh, this must be the point where he figures out. When I first started watching it, I was like, is this the point he figures out that he was abducted? But it wasn't, because he still gets back in the car, right? So as they drive south, both later report hearing a series of buzzing and beeping sounds on the car, feeling tingling sensations, and then entering a dazed state. The next consciously recall being much farther down the road near Ashland. So basically they lost time. So they started hearing beeping and buzzing sounds in the car, feeling tingly, and then next thing they know, they're like 35 miles further than the last thing they remembered. So if anybody knows the area, Cannon Mountain area, I don't know. And so they don't have any memory of like driving that stretch of road. When they reached home, they realized that it took them like 2 hours longer than they expected to get home. So they estimate about 2 hours. So that's the evidence for like that they're presenting for this, okay, do you believe this was a real abduction? So some of the skeptics are saying consistent reports from both spouses of beeping sounds, tingling, and sudden jump in perceived location. They're kind of like these are the things that they're going to wait. Let me see. The missing time. All right, so the missing time, roughly 2 hours. Okay, let's see. Keep moving. I gotta go to my next one for the cons. Where are they? Do we not have the cons on this one? Let me see. But yeah, basically that was their evidence for it. I don't see the cons on here. Maybe there were no cons against this. I thought they did push back about against some of these. Do you remember, Lannie?
Yeah, they did do some pushback on them. That might be later on down in the presentation there. Let's see.
Let's see.
Because we're doing it live, I don't want to move too fast before the people online can see here as well. But just one moment, let me pull up the Miller note and see if I can see it on that. And that is attached up top, guys, the Miller note, if you wanted to pull it up and go look at some of the information that's on there. We are using a separate presentation today because this is our second run of this content, and we wanted to make sure that we covered some of the points that we didn't before. Let's see.
I got it.
You
Let's see.
found it? Okay.
I got the let's see. I think it would be this one. Why am I not able to see this right now? Yeah, we can move on from that because I'm not able to. I'm not sure why I don't see it. That's so weird. But yes, keep going. So yeah, that was basically there. The beeps and those sounds. They're claiming that that might not be. They're pushing back against it. I'm gonna find that a little later. So let's move on from that. So next, we have a little bit of music, right? Is that what we have next? Or are we going to go? Wait, let's see.
Yes, let's go ahead and transition because we want to get into the hypnosis. I think that's going to be the best part to start covering right now after this here second slide that we went through. Are you ready for that? Transition. It's just a little smooth jazz while we get our next clip loaded up. All right. Miss Mel, whenever you're ready to move on into the hypnosis, just
I
let us
am
know.
ready. Here we go. Okay, so I just want to let you know it is a little garbled. Like, I mean, he's under hypnosis, so just be patient with the video.
I try to maintain control so Betty cannot tell I am scared. God, I'm scared. It's all right. You can go right on. Experience it. It will not hurt you now. Dr. Benjamin Simon began the hypnotic sessions with Betty and Barney Hill on January 4th, 1964. Today, we present to you the raw audio of one of those sessions. Through the power of hypnotic recollection, Barney Hill embarks on a journey that peels back the layers of his chilling encounter that took place in rural New Hampshire in 1961. Immerse yourself in Barney's hauntingly emotional story as we follow him down the dark alley, unraveling the unsettling truth of his alien abduction. I want to wake up. You're not going to wake up. You're in a deep sleep. You're comfortable, relaxed. This is not going to go in. Go on. You can remember everything now. It's right over my right. And I tried to maintain control so Betty could not tell I was scared. I was scared. It's all right. Go right on. Experiences will not hurt you now. I gotta get my gun. All right. That's all. Calm now. Relax. Stay relaxed. Be relaxed. You don't have to make any outcry. But you can remember it now. Keep remembering. Keep sure you have to get your gun. This is going to harm you, you felt. I opened the trunk of my car. Did I get it? Did I get back in the car? All right, just keep breathing again. Back over. And then I get out with the binoculars. And then it's there. And I look. And I look. And it shifts over. And I think, I'm not afraid. I'll shoot it down. I'm not afraid. And I walk out, and I walk across the road. There it is up there. Oh, God, calm down. Calm down. It's there. But you can see it, but it's not going to hurt you. Go on. Why doesn't it go away? Look at it. Calm. Not going to hurt you. There's a man. Captain, what is he? Look at me. Just a minute, let's go back a little bit now. You say there, did you say it was 1,000 feet away? Oh, no. 1,000 yards? It doesn't look that far. It's very big. And it's not that far. And I can see it tilted toward me. Tilted? What does it look like now when you say tilted? Did you see wings? Looks like a big pancake with windows and rows of windows and lights of not light, just one huge light. And rows of windows like a commercial plane? Rows of windows. They're not like a commercial plane because they curve around to the size of this pancake. And I say, my God, no. I have to shake my head. I got to, it can't be true. This isn't there. Oh, it's still there. And I look up and down the road. And can't somebody come and tell me this is not there? It can't be. And it's, oh, you're still asleep, but you can see it all clearly. my right arm. It's not my right, it's my left arm. And then I touch my right arm, and it is my left arm. I'm confused. You're clear now. You're relaxed. It's still there. If I let my binoculars fall and dangle from my neck, and then start over again, maybe it won't be there. But it is. Why? What do they want? What do they want? One person looks friendly. He's friendly looking, and he's looking at me over his right shoulder, and he's smiling. We can see him clearly? Yes, I thought. What's his face like? What does it make you think of? It's round. I think of a red-haired Irishman. I don't know why, but I think I know why. Because Irish are usually hostile to Negroes, and when I see a friendly Irish person, I react to it by thinking I will be friendly. And I think this one that is looking over his shoulder is friendly. You say looking over his shoulder, was he facing away from you? Yes, he was facing a wall. And you saw him through this window? You said there were a row of windows. It was a row of windows. Just a huge row of windows, only divided by struts or structures that prevented it from being one solid window. Or then it would have been one solid window. And the evil face on the he looks like a German Nazi. He is not. Did he have on a uniform? Yes. What kind of uniform? It was black. He had a black scarf around his neck, dangling over his left shoulder. You pointed it out as if it were on you. I never noticed that. He had a black scarf on his neck. How could you see these figures so clearly at that distance? I was looking at him with binoculars. Oh. Did they have faces like other people? You say one reminded you of a red-headed Irishman. His eyes were slanted. I see it so. His eyes were slanted. But not like a Chinese. What was Betty doing all this time? I'm not close to her. I don't know. You were out there by yourself, huh? You don't think of her. Is she saying anything? I can't hear her. Did you make any outcry to her, the way you did to me? I can't remember. I don't know. I did not. You would remember it if you did. I did not. But I know showing me something. He's telling me something. How? How is he getting it to you? I can see it in his face. Can you see it move? Yes. Now, his lips aren't moving. Yes, go on. He's telling you. And he's looking at me. What did he tell you? Stay there and keep looking. Just keep looking and stay there. And just keep looking. Just keep looking. Could you hear each other? Oh, I gotta pull these binoculars away from my eyes. Because if I don't, I'll just keep staying there. Could you hear him tell you this? Oh, no, he didn't say it. You felt he said it. I know. You know he did. Just there, yeah. Just stay there, he's saying to me. All right. I'll take in my head. All right. Pull the binoculars away. God, give me strength. All right. Hold it down. Run. Holding me up and down and run. God. If there's my God, give me strength. I gotta get away. Oh. Hey. All right. You gotta get away, Betty. All right. Calm down. I'm trying. I'm gonna get away. How could you be sure he was telling you this? Calm down, you're still asleep. Well, how could you be sure he was telling you this? His eyes. I've never seen his eyes before. But you said they were friendly. You said they were friendly. Oh, no. Not the leaders. I said only he was looking over his shoulder. Oh, I see. The leader was friendly. How did you know the other one was the leader? Because everybody moved. Everyone was standing there looking at me. But everybody moved to these levers or in the back, or they went to this big board. They looked like it looked like a board. And only this one with the black shiny jacket and the scarf stayed at the window. I'm driving. You going back into the car now? Yes. You put down your binoculars, did you? I got them down. Yes. When you got into the car, did you speak to Betty? Getting a hold of myself. I'm saying, hold to myself. Don't panic. Red 42. You can drive the car. Look, Betty, to look out. The object was still around us. I could feel it around us. I saw it when we passed by the object. When I got into the car, it had swung around so that it was out there. I knew it was out there. Yeah, it's out there. But I don't know where. It's funny. Just a little hour. I know. Route 3. Those eyes. They're there in my brain. Oh, please. Can I wake up? Stay asleep a little longer. Oh. We'll get through this now, all right. in the car all the time. That's funny. Said, does the bark do anything? She just stays there. What about Betty? I don't know. Is she saying anything? Oh, I don't understand. Are we being robbed? I don't know. What makes you think you're being robbed? I know it's in my mind and I don't want to say it. Well, you can say it to me. You can say it now. They're men. All with black jackets. And I don't have any money. I don't have anything. I don't know. Oh. Well, the eyes are there. Always the eyes are there. And they're telling me I don't have to be afraid. Is there an accident down the road? What's the red? Bright red. Bright red? Yeah. What is that? Orange and red. Where is that? Right down the road. Down the road. And I don't have to be afraid. But they won't talk to me. Who won't talk to you? The men. In the vehicle? No, they're standing in the road. Where are you? You're in the car? No. I'm just suspended. I'm just worried about how funny. Funny. I want to get back to the car, but you're really floating about, or is that the way you feel? The way I feel. You're still outside of the car? No. You're in the car. I'm not in the car. I'm not near the car. I'm not in the woods. I'm not on the road. Well, where are these men? I don't know. On the road. I don't know. I'm just floating about. Oh, geez. That's the funniest thing, Betty. Funniest thing. I never believed in flying saucers, but I don't know. Mighty mysterious. Yeah. I guess I won't say anything to anybody about this. It's too ridiculous, isn't it? Oh, yes, very funny. Wonder where they came from. Okay. won't stop there. You will be calm and relaxed. You will forget everything that we have had this period together until I ask you to recall it again. You will forget everything we have had now until I ask you to recall it again. You may wait now. Barney Hill's emotional experience is truly a unique and haunting one.
Right.
His recollection has left an undeniable mark on our minds, compelling us to question the mysteries that surround our existence and what may lie beyond the stars, and even the dimensions around us. What do you think of Betty and Barney Hill's story? Do you think it holds any truth? Did you know these recordings existed? Please remember to like, subscribe, and
All right. So
All
that was
right,
the
that was the
hypnosis.
end of that video. Go ahead, Lonnie.
Let's dive into it, Mel, because you have some great bullet points that you pulled from Perplexity here on the hypnosis with Dr. Benjamin Simon. This was during the years 63 through 64. And it starts out talking about the therapy begins. So for those that just came in, this is Betty and Barney Hill abduction in 1961. But the hypnosis was done a couple years later, and it kind of triggered off of Betty having dreams, not the actual event itself. And so it says on December 14th, 1963, the Hills began treatment with Dr. Benjamin Simon, a Boston psychiatrist and expert in hypnosis, primarily to address Barney's anxiety, insomnia, and nightmares. Simon conducts separate hypnotic regression sessions, and we listen to one over several months with amnesia between sessions so that they cannot hear each other's accounts directly. So let's talk about what we've already heard right now. This man sounded like he was terrified.
Yeah, he definitely and that's the thing. It's like there's skeptics who feel some kind of way about it, but like literally like I mean, he sounded scared. Um just I mean, just thinking about the aspect of when he was standing there staring at this whatever it was he saw, whether you believe or not, he saw something and there was a bunch of windows. I mean, he's stuck locked in praying to like put down put down what was he was looking through binoculars, right? Like just to put them down and he couldn't do it and he's stuck and like can you imagine? I don't know, you can hear the fear in his voice. Sure, could he have been acting? Sure, but I feel like he had problems, if I remember correctly. He had problems like for a while, didn't he, afterwards? Like he was going through it.
Yeah, that was the reason why they wanted to put him under the hypnosis, is because of him having the anxiety and insomnia, and like his health was declining. And he actually died before Betty did, a lot earlier. So I don't think
Hmm.
that had anything to do with it, but listening to one of Betty's clips, I think she felt like it had something to do with it. It just affected him completely different than it did her.
Yeah, and they both had things. So like, okay, so if we go through just to go through this particular set of notes. So immediate aftermath and physical traces, right? So this is September through October 1961. So as soon as they got home, they weren't feeling right, like feeling uneasy, acting oddly. I guess placing luggage, like this is kind of noted in there. They placed their luggage at the back door for some reason. They were taking long showers, checking for objects outside. I know that there was talk about them, like at least Barney. He said he kept checking his genital area, like there were different random things. I do feel like Barney might have gotten like he got the worst of it because it definitely like and we'll see because I'm not sure we're gonna. I don't think we're gonna go into her video, but I mean, she doesn't seem as her experience and his experience affected them both differently, I would say. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree, but My thing is like with Betty, we can't find her actual hypnosis, right? Or any of the sessions at all for her. At least I haven't been able to locate it. And the only thing that is out there is her 4 years prior to her passing away. And she's like up in her age. She's been years and years since then. So to me, the same account is not going to be, it's not going to be as effective, you know, years later, 20 some, 30, 40 some years later, after movies and everything, and we're going to get into that later, has been established based off of this whole event that happened with them versus just a couple years later with Barney, you know. And obviously he was dealing with some stuff and it was driving him mad. It says nightmares also.
Yeah, there was a lot. And so, okay, just to continue, sorry, because I'm like, oh, this, that, it pops
Well,
into my head because
let's
there's
see if
so
anybody
much.
else also want to chime in here. I know a couple of our hosts showed up a little later, but if you heard anything, or for those that's been sitting listening to it, is there anything that you guys thought was, you know, worthy to discuss or to make a point on before we move into the abduction narrative?
That nigga was scared.
That's
Like,
what I said.
and he was trying to hide. I remember, I don't know if it's this particular video because I was on a research video part, so I got to listen to a few videos before I actually like sent them in, and it was other videos that he was just like I remember listening to his account, and he was like, I was trying to not show how scared I was, but I was terrified. I
Yeah.
didn't want to alarm Betty, is what he kept saying. Like, I didn't want to scare. Like, he was like, I was trying to be brave for Betty, but I was terrified. Like,
Mhm.
and that's crazy.
You
That's
could hear,
crazy.
you literally, Coco, you could hear it in his vocals, like the tone in his voice. Like, I mean, and my understanding, I would like to dive more into hypnosis on later on if we can, but my understanding is that, you know, you aren't aware that you're under, so it's all raw emotions and memory that is coming out supposedly, but it's not actually, because we do have some skeptical points that says that it could be leading. But yeah, that was a great point out there, Coco Boo.
Anybody else?
Reset here too, so everyone know this is Missing Persons with Lannie Love. We're talking about Betty and Barney Hill, 1961. Just a little tidbit, this was during the civil rights era, and Betty and Barney was an interracial couple that was just coming back, I think, from a honeymoon or some type of trip with each other when this event happened to them. Also, we are live on YouTube at this time, so if you're able to go to the channel and like, subscribe, and share, we appreciate it. Up top is pinned the Miller Note board where you can see all of the information that we're going over and review it at a later time if you'd like to. But the presentation that we're reading off will not be available until after the show has been recorded and available to you tomorrow. Moving forward, Mel, where are we going to move on next in this? Because your presentation says abduction narrative under hypnosis. It gets a little bit deeper into some pain points of what we heard.
Okay, let me see. I want to make sure we're at the same place in my in my board here. So let's see. Because I did see. Okay, so let me see. Give me 1 second. Apologies. Where you
And you
at
guys
on
can go
here?
ahead and use the chat. We will take a moment out through the show to read some of the chat, so that way you guys can get your questions out, or if you had comments, because you know you're just as important as us hosts on stage.
Okay, so we were going over the are we talking about the immediate aftermath and physical traces? So like, I mean, just in case, I'll just go through some of these. So Barney noticed that his binocular strap was broken. The toes of his dress shoes were scuffed. These are just physical evidence that they had with regard to some of the things that, you know, they're claiming happened with regard to this abduction. Once again, he had a compulsion to check his genitals. And he didn't find anything wrong. He just kept feeling the need to. And Betty with her dreams, which we already went over. So like on the trunk of the car, I don't know if we went over this, but apparently there were some shiny circular spots that appeared after this abduction. And so, according to the Hills, when they like placed a compass over it, it was going crazy, and that kind of indicates some sort of magnetic anomaly, which it's possible. Betty's dress from that night later shows tears at the zipper and the hem and some pinkish powdery stains. So those are the evidence for, right? And then we have the skeptics. Let's see, let me make sure that I have so evidence for there were the watches. So apparently their watches stopped, the broken strap, the all of those things, those circular spots on the car, torn stained dress. So the skeptics push against. The watches were never actually subject to any kind of controlled testing or chain of custody documentation. And they kind of say watches can fail for all kinds of reasons. So these are the skeptics, right? You guys decide based on the evidence. That's why I'm trying to break it down in terms of these are the evidence for it, and these are what the skeptics are saying. So far, in my opinion, make your own opinion about this. I feel like, the skeptics are failing with their, it's flimsy arguments. But let's see what they say here. So the next is the magnetic trunk with the spots and, putting a compass over it. The trunk spots were investigated informally. So they were investigated by these, UFO groups that they had at the time. So it wasn't any independent laboratory or, anything that they would deem as a proper testing, because it was through these UFO groups. And then they also say with regard to the dress, they're consistent with ordinary wear and tear. So these are the skeptics' points with regard to each piece of evidence that was presented for this abduction being real. So yeah, we can move on to the next slide if you would like. Unless anybody has any questions, anybody else on the stage, or anybody who wanted to talk more about the hypnosis video. I mean, there were some things in that hypnosis video that I feel like we should definitely like talk about. It was just, I mean, the dog, like I'm interested in the whole idea of because I initially thought, once again, I said it earlier, that they had gotten him abducted when he was staring in in a trance, but apparently it was later down the road. And see, because I've already listened to some of these videos, like with Betty Hill's statement. Do you want me to get into that, Lannie? You know what she was saying about being pulled into the forest?
Yes, go right ahead, Mel.
Okay, so if you go into the Mila note, which is pinned above, there will be links to some of these videos and you can listen to them yourself. We won't be playing Betty Hill's story because it's not under hypnosis. This is just her story, and it was later in life when she, talks about it. But it was interesting because she didn't really seem like it wasn't the same trauma. And once again, she wasn't in hypnosis, but she remembered, it seemed. And I don't know if this was after, because we were unable to find any hypnosis videos from her. It's hard to tell, did she have this story? Was this all through hypnosis that she remembered all of this? Maybe it was through the dreams. Remember,
Well,
they did.
remember, she also stated that she was, after they had the hypnosis, she was taken by, I think, what, the CIA around, or no, well, the military, at least, around to different military bases and stuff, teaching how to stuff about alien abductions and stuff, basically.
Yeah, which okay, so that's a whole other thing, right? But yeah, I guess we can move on from that. Unless does anybody else on stage want to talk about the hypnosis video? Because like I said, there was a lot in his, but it was more of a fearful thing. And then when she goes into it, it's definitely, And I know some of you were there for when we played that video. So
But
but go
I
ahead.
did. I wanted to kind of dive a little more, like, because Coco Boo brought that up about. So even though some of the skeptics feel like it could have been confabulation, right, is what they call it, or what so have you, him being prompted by Dr. Simon, his philosoph what you call it, his basically emotional intensity and stuff, and the distress that was in those audio recordings, that to me could not be fake. That sounds so real, to where if it wasn't an actual event that happened, what signs of trauma or some type of event that happened that caused him to display that through that hypnosis. I said that to say that I think he experienced something on that road. Whether it was an alien abduction or a government experiment, something happened to Barney Hill.
Yeah, once again, okay, so the evidence it does talk about the emotional intensity, the broad agreement between the two independently. So like they were independently hypnotized, obviously. And I mean, it all like coincided. Like the witnesses, like they were in agreement on what happened. Give me 1 second, sorry.
So I'm gonna read what someone put in the chat here. It said, framework of retained memory is constructed on emotional stamp storage. This can lead to reconstruction of memory if you didn't like the one you have. It happens often. People substitute reality as induced by trauma, in many cases, escapism resulting. Created characters, places, and cases can also result. Multiplicity of personality could be an induced as byproduct. And the fact that this whole event created a whole storyline that movies and military being trained by, it prompted all of that from this. Was this something that maybe possibly was structured or manufactured to happen this way? Because we know Project Blue Book was used, or not created from this, but amplified. That project was amplified from this event.
Yeah, that's okay. So that was the other thing that was very strange because let me see here. So within days of this, she ended up, you know I mean, calling the Air Force, and that's the part that's crazy because they an Air Force Project Blue Book form ultimately records it. They recorded it as a satellite or a planet as the explanation, which is weird. But she ended up basically doing tours, which is, so that makes it, I mean, like I said, I think that this is one of the most credible stories, but there are things that do make me question, like Betty a little bit. Like she's going around giving tours, but when you listen to her at the end, I don't know. You
Well, I
gotta.
mean, like the star system being foretold by Betty before it was found, right? That's another thing. Like, if we want to get into leading stuff being, confabulated, let's talk about that with Betty, because Betty had, to me, somewhat of a different recollection than what Barney's was more of a terrifying event. Hers was more of a welcoming event. She said that she was there, they were her friends, and that she spoke with more of them than what Barney did, or at least what he could recall, right, through hypnosis.
Yeah, I do remember her. Her story was much clearer. Which, that's what I'm saying. It was just weird how much clearer it was. Like, if you guys do go in and watch that video, you'll get more of an idea what we're talking about. So she goes in and she's just Like it's very matter of fact. Yes, we get walked into the forest, and then we, and her experience definitely was different. But to to Lonnie's point, like this star map that she described, like it's crazy. So, you know, the similarity between her drawing and this zeta reticuli system, and apparently, so if you don't know what that is, in the late 1960s, amateur astronomer Marjorie Fish constructs 3D models of nearby star systems, and claims that one particular view matches Betty's map, right? And this is the Zeta Reticuli system, Zeta Reticuli, excuse me. Um, so there's a lot of interesting talk about this because apparently at the time that Betty described this map and drew this pattern of stars, um, it wasn't like this particular system wasn't known about.
And
So it's
remember, Mel, she said it was shown to her by the leader.
yeah. So I mean, this this one might be the one that I'm just like, that's crazy, right? Like this one, how can you dispute this? And it's exact. Like it's too perfect. Like it doesn't make any sense. It's way too perfect.
It
So
is way too perfect, which then goes to where conspiracy theorists who believe that the whole star system and outer space and all of that is fabricated by our government. Okay, yeah.
listen, I don't hey, all I know, all I can tell you is based on like what they're saying. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's exact. And once again, so the apparent geometric similarity between Betty's drawing and Fish's model includes several sun-like stars at comparable distances, is held up as statistical improbability if the drawing were random. Proponents note that some catalog data about nearby stars and their spectral types was not easily accessible to lay people in the early 1960s, suggesting inside knowledge, right? So like she wouldn't have been able to have this type of inside knowledge, based on, I mean, yeah, at the time it just wasn't available. So I will go through the skeptic points because we need to have a balanced view, right? Right. Here we go. And you guys decide for yourself. So the skepticals, astronomers and skeptics have shown that if you allow enough freedom in selecting, rotating, and scaling, many random dot patterns can be matched to subsets of real star fields. Critics argue Fish's match is a classic case of pattern seeking and selection bias. So that's the first point. Some of the stellar data Fish used has since been reviewed, weakening or breaking key elements of the proposed matched. Modern analysis find no compelling statistical support that the map encodes real astrophysical information beyond chance. Even if the pattern were non random, it would not establish that the hills were abducted. It would only show that some real star configuration resembles Betty's drawing, which could also arise from indirect access to star charts or ordinary coincidence. I do feel like they've been reaching. Um, but what do you guys think? Feel free to write in the comments, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're in this app with us currently. Let us know what you think about the evidence for and against, this abduction, whether it was real, whether it was a hoax. So yeah, let's keep moving on though. Let me see here.
I'm leaning more towards, like, at first I was thinking, oh man, this is, I mean, based off of Barney, if it was just Barney that we were, you know, dealing with this, analyzing this based off of, I would say this, there's potential for this to be real. But a lot of the Betty stuff is starting to feel kind of psyopy to me. I'm just be honest with you, just a little bit, or more structure, I would say. Maybe her event and everything was real, but everything that she has stated throughout through after the hypnosis could be manufactured in some ways, especially with them choosing her specifically and only her to be the one to go around and teach this to our military.
I mean, yeah, I have to admit, that part, see, that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm torn because on the one hand, yeah, like, her having this start, but oh, you know what? Do we know when did she draw this star system? Was it before or after she signed up with Project Blue Book?
That's a good question. That is, I think she drew it through the hypnosis. So that was well before, because that was through the years of 63 and 64, before any of the touring and stuff like that happened, right? But listen, we're gonna take a brief transition here because I want to get into publication and media and the later life of Betty and Barney, and more of Betty, because there's so much that came from this event, like childhood television shows that some of us can recall, or movies that we might have seen or been told about, was shaped and fashioned based off of Betty and Barney's event. So just a moment here while we have a brief intermission. All right. Thank you for that brief little transition and intermission that we had right there. Tunes by Lannie Love. Go check her out on Suno. We want to move into the next topic here about publication media in later life, but we did mention Project Blue Book. And I just want to go over real quick what Project Blue Book was, if anyone did not know. It was the code name for a systematic study of unidentified flying objects, UFOs, by the United States Air Force from March 1952 to its termination on December 17, 1969. It's interesting that it terminated a few years later after the Betty and Barney Hill event, right? It said the project headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio was initially directed by Captain Edward J. Roper, and followed projects of a similar nature such as Project Sign, established in 1947, and Project Grudge in 1949. It says that Project Blue Book had two goals, namely to determine if UFOs were a threat to national security and to scientifically analyze UFO-related data. And if you look on the Millennial board, there is an actual Project Blue Book record.
Let me see. I'm on here now. Oh, yes, that was the thing. Okay, I just downloaded that. I was trying to make it bigger for my computer because I'm old and my old eyes needed something bigger. Let me see. So I'm trying to read it because it's like kind of old. And it's in cursive, Lord have mercy. But let me see if I can get this big enough to see. So it starts off, let's see, location, Lincoln, New Hampshire. I'm just going to read it out to you guys, but I would suggest going on to the link up top, the pin link, and looking at it. So it would be towards the, going towards the end, as we've gone through most of the stuff on there. You will see a document, and it looks old, and it says Project Blue Book Record 10073. Let's see. Continue. Oh gosh. Okay, so it just kind of goes over the details. So source, a civilian. Um, what does that say? Something intercept radar. Can you make that out? So ground viewed, something intercept radar, and it's by a civilian. What else is checked off? Other. It's hard to read some of this, but continuous band of light at all times, despite changes, seem to appear in. Yeah, it's hard to read some of this because it's just all over the place. It says both radar and visual sighting are probably due to conditions. So they kind of just. It's weird that they kind of wrote it off as being nothing, but then had her touring. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm unsure how to
Some
feel about
conflicting
this.
information, right?
Yeah, because it's very weird. Because okay, it's hard to read a lot of this, but based on what I can make out, they're kind of chalking it up to like no evidence indicating were due to other than that. Any of this was other objects. That's what it says. No evidence indicating objects were due to other than natural causes. So they wrote her off and yet still had her go around touring, which leads me to believe that it could be that she was, I don't know what they saw. I don't know if it was real. I don't even know if that proves that they didn't see something, but her story might be a little bit skewed because who knows, they might have like got to her because how are they going to say this and then have her touring and explaining to like to the Air Force about UFOs if she didn't see one.
Hey
I don't
guys,
know.
I'm so glad you opened this room because Betty and Barney Hill was the first, well, not one of the first people I heard talking about aliens, but when, like, I always wondered why was it always white people or not a black person that saw aliens or talked about seeing a UFO. So when I read their story many, many years ago, or seen it, on social media, not social media, it was like on YouTube, I was like, oh my gosh. This story is so crazy. Matter of fact, it was just on the internet. It wasn't on YouTube. I read their story on the internet in like 2000 maybe. And I was like, oh my God, wow. So this kind of made it seem like this must be real. It might not be, a false thing when it came to aliens. Maybe it's real because somebody of my color seen it. And I'm like, I thought it was just, made up stories about aliens, whatever. I believe their story. I mean, I kind of felt like, why would they lie? But then again, that's me thinking, oh, because they're black, why would they lie? Like, I don't know. But I feel like their story never really changed. Well, her story, because the husband's dead now, right?
Well, you know what the thing is, and that's the thing. I don't know that their entire story is it's just, and look, I'm not even saying any of it that she said is untrue because I mean this one is one of the most well known, and I feel like it's one of the ones that most people believe. But the thing is, I do have to point out her signing, like her initially calling the Air Force and talking to them, and then it's just fishy. The only part that I'm gonna say is fishy is the fact that she called them and then they put out, a response indicating that, it was nothing. Like whatever they saw, it was all natural. Like it wasn't any kind of UFO activity. And yet had her touring and like not touring, but like going around and doing like these classes with these Air Force people, like teaching them about UFOs. So it's weird. Like, well, what would she have to teach? Her encounter didn't it was nothing. It was all natural. So I mean that part is a little suspect. And her experience, like her experience versus his, if we listen to his hypnosis, I mean, and that's why I'm saying I don't think it was like the whole thing is bullshit, but I do think that something something was a little funny with her. Her story was much more clear. She explained being walked into the forest and going onto the ship. Her experience with the beings seemed to be a little bit different, and maybe it was just how she took it, but I don't know. Feel free to jump in and counter anything I'm saying, but this is just my point of view looking at some of this evidence. Like maybe she was a little bit she might have been compromised.
When they were being interviewed in their home and they were talking about it together. I mean, their stories seem to have been the same at that point. As far as it being switched up, I mean, I don't know. Was it to the point where she was getting paid to tell the story? Or I'm trying to see what was Betty and Barney getting out of it by telling a false story.
For a long time they
So,
got nothing, so that's the other part that pushes me back the other way, because they didn't want the money, they didn't want the prestige, they were just talking about their story to people. So
Well, let's
so
say
when I'm sorry.
booking a TV adaptation. Because Landa, we've already ran this before, and we ran the actual clip that you had provided to us with Betty's story. That's how we kind of going off of some of the stuff we're talking about, how we know what she talked about, but we didn't want to rerun it again this time because the show is only going to be for 2 hours moving forward, guys. Well, a little bit more than that based on how the feel of it is, since we are live on YouTube, and this is going to be content that's going to go on YouTube after the fact. So saying that, we'll break these up into different segments. So this is our second segment. If we feel like we want to do a third one off of it, we sure can and move into some more stuff. But it says here that in 1966, the journalist John Fuller publishes The Interrupted Journey, which represents the Hill story, including excerpts from the hypnosis transcripts to a wide audience, and firmly establishes the case as the first major American alien abduction, right? Then you have in 1975 when NBC airs the UFO Incident, a dramatization starring James Earl Jones and Estelle Parsons, further popularizing the narrative. And it goes on. There's statements that were officially put out by the Hills that is considered that could be, kind of shaping popularity or what so have you. And looking at the Miller Note board, there is, all right, here we go, a TV movie, a documentary, videos. There's podcasts that's been shaped off of this, and our podcast talks about missing persons. And I thought this was great for the conspiracy side of it, because even though they were only going missing for a couple hours, all this stuff came from it.
So wait, are these videos of her at her older age
Yes,
or
this that
back
that
then?
video
Okay.
was her 4 years before she passed away.
And he was already dead.
So,
Yes, Barney died a
long time.
lot
Yeah.
earlier before she did, and his whole experience that we discussed earlier was a lot different than Betty's. Betty's was more, and I'm not saying Betty's experience wasn't real or she was fabricating it, because some of us in here feel like, hey, where are the aliens at? We are welcoming them, right? That's how her attitude was. It, but Barney's was more of, he was terrified. So my thought was, is if it wasn't true extraterrestrial, this was something that was fabricated to happen. And I feel like if it was fabricated to happen, it was so that all of this here other stuff could occur, especially the Project Blue Book, because Project Blue Book wasn't created by this, but it is what made it more popular. And yes, to answer one of the questions in the chat, I am talking about the outer limits.
So yeah, it's just interesting because I've always believed in this story over like so many of the others, but I will say there are some things that will make me question. For so I mean,
And I think that's with any event though. There's always going to be some
hmm
skepticism, even if you believe it. I believe that they experienced something on that road that night. But I also believe that this was an opportunity for things to be to be created from it. You know what I'm saying? For them to gain monetary gain and notoriety. Not Betty and Barney, but our government and other people. They took the story and ran with it and made TV shows and movies and things, and it was just two person, their encounter of something that they felt like was out of this world. um
So what if their encounter was government control altogether?
and see, that's a whole nother
and
situation.
what if Betty was the handler the whole time? Oh, let's not go into that. Let me pull back from our conspiracy bag.
To explore every possibility that it can be, because even now there is a upcoming movie starring Demi Moore and Coleman Domingo.
Right?
Okay. Yes, and this was, like I said at the beginning, this happened through the civil rights movement. They know that they were, and they were civil rights activists at that. Also, guys, let's talk about.
I mean, we gotta, yeah, we really gotta look in because I'm just saying, like, so an interracial couple during a time where it's not real popular to be an interracial couple. There are civil rights activists, and they're the ones. Like once again, let me start by saying yes, I've always believed this story, but we've got to look at every aspect of it and point out some of the things that could lead you to think this could be a psyop of some sort. But you know what? Like I said, we haven't we let you guys decide and let us know what you think, but some of these things are questionable.
Someone in the chat said interesting timing. I would say it is very interesting timing that this all occurred. And it's not the first sighting though. It's the first recorded, the first told. Because remember, so like, well, not remember, but in Betty's story that she we encountered that, or she was letting us know that she was told not to believe the hype of, what it was, it Mel, I think it was like UFO, some type of UFO organizations or something that was already established at the time.
Yeah.
There had
Mm-hmm.
been sightings. So theirs was the first, what is it, the encounter, the first encounter of or something. They're the first one to say that they were abducted, right? But not the first one to say that they saw a flying saucer. At the time is what they called them. Oh, UFO sensationalists. I think that's what they were. She was like, don't fall. She was told by the police and stuff in the military, I mean, not to fall for those, getting to them and not to talk to them. And so then she herself, when she was asked to give advice, that was the same advice that she meant.
Eric, because well, I think we got to also remember. I don't think people like, even though there were these UFO groups, people weren't trying to like talk about whether or not when they seen these types of things. So that's another reason theirs was considered the first. But I just think it's interesting of all of the people to be the first. This controversial couple during this. Again, I'm not saying it's a psyop. I'm just saying there's some things that might lead you to believe it could be. Um, Once again, it's still one of the most interesting for me. And trust me, there are others, and we will be diving into some, right? In later episodes. But this one, I mean, every bit, I feel like most people know about this one. And it's very believable. A lot of people say it's credible. I feel like when we've gone over the evidence, and then we've gone over what the skeptics had to say with regard to the evidence. And my feeling is they're reaching a little bit. Once again, the only real like thing that throws me is Betty's involvement with the government and the military and going around and training them after they said that her incident was just a weather balloon or something. What did they say it was? It was radar. I don't know what they said it was. What did they say? I can't even remember at this point. But they definitely said it was natural, something that was natural. So yeah, but okay, let's see. Where are we moving on to from here? Have we looked at everything? So we got in 1975, NBC airs the UFO incident, a dramatization starring James Earl Jones and Estelle Parsons, further popularizing the narrative. Okay, once again, let me start by saying The Hills did not gain any notoriety or benefit from this until years later. Like initially, that was not their goal. So I really don't think it was about money. I'm unsure if it was a psyop, what it would have been about. So, come to your own conclusions based on what we're presenting. So later statements from the Hills, Betty continues to lecture, correspond with UFO researchers, and report further UFO sightings for years. Many later reports are widely considered weak or fanciful, even by some pro-UFO investigators. Barney dies in 1969. Betty lives until 2004. Wow. Wow. Okay, so think about that. Let's see. That's like 30. She lived 34 years longer than him. I mean, I really think something
That's a
happened. And what,
significant amount of time to live longer.
right?
No, but at the same time though, we can look into what death rates and stuff. I mean, as far as life expectancy was for black men back during that time. Just to be honest with you, because men tend to leave this here existence before women do, anyways. So that's not something that's really a big red flag for me. But it's something to just look into also. Question is, did he experience this before the event?
They stay together after it.
Yes. Hmm.
Who knows? That's interesting. I wonder if we have any evidence on the couple prior. So
While you're looking at that right there, I did want to read what it said in regards that you know they became central figures in the UFO culture and can itself incentivize maintaining and reinforcing the story, even if it began as a misinterpretation or psychological event rather than a hoax. I don't think it was a hoax at all. I think something really happened to them. Now,
mm-hmm.
what happened to them is my question at this point.
Happened to like look it up. I mean, they didn't have too much, but so personalities in life situation. Accounts of Betty emphasized that she was energetic, idealistic, and inclined towards activism, seeing herself as someone destined for meaningful work. She had previously married, helped raise children, then returned to college and built a professional career in social work, which suggests persistence and independence. Barney is often portrayed as practical, hardworking, and somewhat cautious or skeptical. He maintains steady employment and regular civic commitments. So it seems like I don't see anything that would. So friends, colleagues, and neighbors typically describe them as respectable, good, wholesome people with nothing especially sensational about their lives aside from being an interracial couple during the civil rights era. So they belong to the NAACP. Barney served on the local board of the U.S. Commissions and Civil Rights, and he was seen as serious and responsible in that role. Both were active in their local Unitarian church and in civil rights work. Yeah. Uh, oh, he was okay. Barney was a World War II veteran, worked as a postal worker. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, so they were just it doesn't seem that there was anything to indicate that he was unstable. It seems, and that's okay. So that further, based on like how he was acting in hypnosis and his reaction, I don't know. Like that's kind of crazy, like for him to switch up like that. Because everything they're saying about him gives hardworking, practical, cautious, skeptical. So, something really happened to this man to break him, because like they made it seem like he had it together, you know. But I mean, hey, I don't know. You guys decide. We're just giving out the evidence here.
All right, Mel. So, did you go over the modern analysis and psychological models?
No, I did not. Hold on one second.
Um, psychological reinterpretation. So, contemporary scholars of alien abduction narratives often treat the Hill case as a prototype, a two-stage process where an unusual nocturnal experience, lights, fear, partial amnesia, is later elaborated into a detailed abduction story through dreams, discussion, and hypnosis. In this model, Betty's dream crystallized the initial weird experience into a cohesive story, which hypnosis then reinforces and exports into memory, especially for Barney. So they're thinking from this right here that Betty's dreams, not the actual event. Now, they're not talking about what they say they actually experienced, but her dreams that she had afterwards is what crystallized the weird experience and turned it into this here story. Because remember, they didn't initially tell the story. So it was, and they didn't have the hypnosis to 2 years later after the actual event.
Yeah, and so, oh, hold on, sorry, I have to sneeze.
And while we waiting on you, Mel, I'll talk about the. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I was just saying, I do feel like there, so a lot of the basis for why they're saying that to me seems a little flimsy. And so once again, if we go back to what their reasoning behind saying that was, okay, so for instance, their skepticism with regard to okay, so that night, a lot of it they're basing it on, oh, they were probably just sleepy, or let's see, by if we're talking about, like, let's see, where was it there, I'm trying to go back to the, oh, night driving. So it was night driving fatigue, route confusion, like why they're saying that because for them to say that the story is all based on Betty's dreams is crazy, because they literally lost 2 hours of time. And their argument for why they lost those 2 hours was, oh, it was night driving fatigue, route confusion. 2 hours. I don't know. I mean, do you feel free to chime in, anybody else on stage, but do you guys really think that you could accidentally lose 2 hours and like not?
No,
Like that's crazy. 2 hours. We're not
10
talking
hours
like,
straight, and I was nighttime fatigue and all of that. I ain't lose 2 hours of sleep. I mean, I ain't lose 2 hours of time.
yeah, and that's kind of why I feel like their arguments are flimsy. So even, I get what the psychological reinterpretations are going to say, that, oh, Betty's dreams somehow influenced Barney's hypnosis, and I feel like something happened on that road. They're just downplaying it a lot, but that's my point of view with regard to that. They're always going to lead towards, they always have to find the logical a logical explanation, but sometimes we have to understand there are things that are happening um, that may not be able to be explained by our, what we currently know. There are a lot of things we don't know. I believe in a little bit of the magical, though. So, what do you think, Lonnie?
I believe in it too. And that's why I want to read the evidence again that's cited by the proponents, because even though they believe, like, the anxiety and all that is stemmed from these dreams that I guess Betty was telling Barney, like, that doesn't really add up or make sense to me, because it says like the conjunction of multiple strands. You have missing time, right? We just said that. We have physical anomalies like the dress, the trunk spots, like you talked about earlier, the watches, right? And we know that the time, we have a lot of abduction stories where time stopped at certain periods of time. Like, this isn't the only story. And I still feel like you have so many people that experience the same thing. It's like, how do you say that they're all experiencing the same psychological thing at different
Exactly.
places in the world? Then it says the intense emotional reactions, the parallel hypnotic accounts, and the star map. Now they want to say the star map is debatable, right? But listen, she dreamed this, right? She told them this through hypnosis. And then later down the line, someone actually saw this in what they used to see other star systems and stuff, right? Now, whether they just made it up, it wouldn't have been Betty that made it up in my mind. It would have been whoever found the star system later. They decided to make that up. But it continues to be argued as cumulative case that is hard to dismiss as mere misperception. I don't think that these are misperceptions. I think that they experienced something on that highway, and I think, like what is being said in the chat, it was an opportunity for it to become a national psyop or a national story, and all this other stuff, built off of it. But their actual event is real.
Yeah, I'm torn. I'm not going to lie to you. I am torn because, even though I think that a lot of these things, I mean, like you said, this isn't the only one. Them talking about their watches, the watches stopping at a specific time. Like, I feel like I've heard that on several of these like abduction stories where the time, something to do with the time, and it stops at the specific time that these people get taken, and it never goes back again. So I'm not sure what that's about, but and basically, I still feel like a lot of the skeptics, like, they don't have much. But I still, like I said, I'm torn because of Betty's involvement with Project Blue Book. It's gonna throw me. It's gonna always be in the back of my head, like, I don't know, but yeah. So basically, I mean, I feel like we've come to the end of our little our notes here with regard to like what the pros and the cons. I mean, I guess it's up to you guys. We do have, let's see, what else do we have on our mailing note? The movie. Do you want to talk a little bit about this movie, Strange Arrival, that's coming out? I mean, I know you touched on it a bit, but
We could just
yeah.
break down some of the points on it here. Um,
You want me to play it? Is this a video I should play, or
Small
do you?
little introduction to the like a little small trailer. It's not a real trailer. It's someone talking about it, so I don't really care to look at it. We can just read what the plot says here and the significance of it, when it's scheduled to come out, and then we can move into our closing here because we're almost at our 2 hour time frame. I want to thank everybody who has been present for this show today. Oh, I love you guys. Go ahead, Mel. Go ahead and bring the Strange Arrival promo to them.
Okay, so let me see. The movie upcoming stars Demi Moore, who will play Betty Hill, and Coleman Domingo, who will play Barney Hill. Okay, this is directed by Roger Ross Williams, who's apparently an Oscar winner. An epic romance inspired by the true story of Betty and Barney Hill, an interracial couple who claimed alien abduction during their honeymoon, testing their relationship. So let's see. This is called an Adam and Eve, the Adam and Eve of alien abduction stories. Ooh, okay. So the filming was scheduled for late 2025. Okay, so it's likely to release this year or next. I'm definitely gonna watch it, even though I don't know how I feel about Demi Moore, and she looks a little weird in this picture. But let me stop being mean. Sorry, Demi. Anyway, yeah, that's about it on that one. Once again, if you do want to dive a little bit more into it, it is located in the Mila note, which is posted above, and you can find all the links to everything we're talking about. All right, Lonnie, back to you.
Well, whether you believe this was a genuine extraterrestrial event or a social phenomenon rooted in shared trauma, the facts of the disappearance remain a compelling, unexplained mystery, y'all. The lack of conventional evidence is as much as part of the story as the witness testimonies. We present the evidence and the theories, and we leave it up to you to decide, like Mel has said before. We are going to go ahead and move forward into closing this show out. We appreciate you tuning in to Mr. Persons with Lannie Love. Support the YouTube by subscribing, liking, and sharing. We will have the episodes up on there if you want to go back and review them on YouTube Live, or you can listen to the pre-recording here or replay on Clubhouse. Leave a review and share if you do go to YouTube. We appreciate that greatly. We will have our sources available for you here, and look forward to the next show. There will be some promo coming out, so watch my IG or TikTok or even YouTube to see when the next show is going to be. Thank you all for tuning in, and we're going to go ahead and play our exit song. Remember what you've been trying to forget. Black boy, brown skin, looking at the sky. White girl, small town, asking me why. We both see that shimmer hanging over the pines. Silver in the dark, like it's reading our minds. Car stops, radio low, time stretched thin. Phone glitch, clock jump, air hums within. You say, baby, did we drift or did we drive? I just feel my pulse, still here, still alive. Legacy, it knows it. Touch our memory, it goes it. Minutes, marks, stages it. You were full of, you want to live it. Legacy, it knows it. It's just a story, it goes it. In that bright flash, we chose each other. Interstellar lovers. We remember. They said, stick to your own, that line been drawn. But the sky cracked open, painted us in bronze. Turned to look white in the rear view mirror. You were holding on my arm. Eyes get clearer. We both, we flow, we fade, we fall. Wake up leaning on the shoulder of a hospital wall. Doctor talk circles, say it's distress. But they branded our brains with the coded address. I see symbols on your wrist when I dream. See my face in a cold blue beam. You share one secret. Two families doubted, but we got the scars, so we don't talk around it. Legacy, hypnosis, they touch our memories, then close it. We lose the minutes, the marks stay vivid. You were full of, we the ones who live it. Legacy, hypnosis, they twist our story, then close it. But in that bright flash, we chose each other. Interstellar lovers, we remember. Click, and the world goes thin. Somebody flip the reel, then press play again. Our people vanish, names fade from the news. We stand in the static, wearing all their truths. We speak for the lost ones floating off the grid. For the kids, it's where they saw what they did. Every flash in the dark got a heartbeat in it. Every missing minute got a voice. We in it. Thank y'all for coming through.